All right, so we got to do this quick. My daughter's napping right now. I don't know for how long. She's a little finicky with that. I don't want to be too loud. I'm talking quietly in here. So last week we got outside and we measured the lawn. I did the backyard, the big side yard, the corner, the front, the little side yard, everything. I've got it all done. You saw that. Now we're inside. I've got the lawn journal. In the lawn journal, it's going to have all the measurements. It's going to have my own little hand-drawn versions of the lawn. In Alan Haynes' video, where he teaches you to learn your lawn, he shows you how to measure out your lawn, how to divide it up into zones. He used Google Maps or Google Street View or whatever you want to call it and printed it out and broke it up that way. I don't have that luxury out here in rural America. We don't really get that good of a zoomed in version of my piece of property. Not to mention, this is all new construction, so this piece of property was cleared 2 years ago. It was built last year. Google has not caught up yet with us, which is maybe a good thing. I don't know. Anyway, so I have nothing but crude hand drawings of each section of the lawn with little dotted lines breaking it down into further subsections of the lawn. We're going to go over that, and we're gonna show you how to essentially learn your lawn. I'm learning, you're learning, we're all learning. We're going to get better at this together. This is going to be the foundation of my 2021 lawn plan. Pretty much the foundation of me kind of getting started this fall with really trying to get the lawn going in the right direction where I want it to be. And we're going to go from there. We're going to learn together. So, like Alan Haynes says, we are learning our lawn. Let me show you what I got. All right, so here we are. We're looking at the backyard right here. The upper portion is the wiffle ball field. That's kind of the nicest portion of my yard right now. It's roughly 4,000 square foot. That came in really well due to the fact that it gets great sunlight and great shade. It's a healthy balance up there, and it's a smaller area, and it's close to the hose, so I was able to get it watered a lot and really manage it. In the back, I actually, off to the side and in the back here, I have a road, and all my material is back there. Eventually, I would like to use that and expand the size of the wiffle ball field. Right now, I'm burying all my fill there. I'm using that road a lot with my father's backhoe, so there is no grass on it right now. Ultimately, the wiffle ball field is what I'm going to focus on this fall. I really want to put a lot of emphasis and effort into that because it is the nicest portion of my piece of property, and that's going to be the easiest thing for me to take to the next level as I'm kind of learning and getting more familiar with lawn care. So we're going to start there, and then we're going to work our way around the yard, and eventually this entire 40,000 square foot piece of property is going to look beautiful. All right. The other portion of the backyard is the lower backyard. That's roughly, it's 4,700 square foot, so a little less than 5,000. It also has a small landscaping area that I need to work on. There's about a gaggle of 3 trees there with some stumps and roots that I need to clean out. The other thing I want to emphasize is there's a lot of shade down there. The grass is a little thinner. Thin and wispy is the way I would describe it, almost like spaghetti noodly. It doesn't have the deep roots and the fully established leaf blades like the rest of the back does. And I think that's due to the lack of sunlight. So I'm not sure if the grass is ever going to fully take there or not, or if I need to bring in a shade mix. We're going to see as the years progress in the back here. So let's take a look at the side yard now. All right, so now we're looking at the big side yard. I have a new color here, orange, for heavy sun. These sections of my yard that are highlighted orange, they get sun from sunrise to sunset. On my property, the sun rises down by that corner lot and works its way all the way to the back upper left corner on this particular map. It goes around from the bottom all the way around and then up to the top. All right. Unfortunately, all my grass, not all of it, but a lot of it in this bright orange section died off. It didn't get established initially. It got down pretty late, and so now I have a lot of crabgrass there that I'm fighting with tenacity.
I need to get another application down. It might not be worth it. It might die off in the winter, and then I can hit it with some pre-emergent and it won't come back next year. But ultimately this fall, I need to get this reseeded and get the grass more established. I'm using a tall fescue mix, and that's supposed to be more drought resistant, so we shall see how that does next year. Now, based on the way that sun rises and sets on my property, I do have a lot of trees in the backyard and in the lower portion, so that actually casts a lot of shade on the lower portion of the side yard. You can see here where I've got it highlighted in blue. All my water actually travels down here too. So this is kind of like a damper portion of my piece of property as opposed to the drier portions up top there. I do have concerns about fungus, but for the most part, this should be, this is growing pretty good. A little, if not a little thin, same as in the backyard where it doesn't get a lot of sun. So it might need to be replaced with a shade mix. We'll see how it does in the years to come. All right. Looking at this overall image, you can see how my property is broken down. There's the upper side yard. It slopes down to the leach field. There are a couple of trees there that I left. I didn't clear out. All right. Then there's the leach field, which is flat. It should be my best growing portion of property, but it's not, surprisingly, if you can believe that. And then there's the lower side yard, which slopes down again towards the road. All right. Then I have the corner lot, which gets a lot of sunlight, has some big landscaping rocks I'm going to have to figure out what I want to do with. And then looking up top, you can see that I have what's called the path. All right. And that it goes from the front to the corner. And then I have a little landscaping project I'm calling kind of like my oasis. The bird feeder's there. There's a couple of trees there. I left a bunch of rocks. I'd like to build a little rock wall to go around it, mulch it, and then put in some bushes. So that's a future project years down the road. It's a big project, but it's something nice I'd like to do. Now let's take a look at the front yard. All right, so we're looking at the front yard here. The front yard's broken down into three main sections. I have what I call the house front, the well front, and the ditch front. The house front's roughly 3,000 square foot, whereas the well front is a little bit bigger at 3.6, so just over 3.5. And the ditch front's 425 square foot, so just shy of 500 square feet. The ditch front, the way it's set up between the trees, gets a lot of shade, so the grass is a little thinner there and dries out pretty quickly. It needs a little love. Also, based on the way the sun moves around my property, I have two spots that get heavy sun in the top left and the bottom left of the front yard. I noticed this summer they're a little bit drier than the rest of it. Overall, the main portion of the front yard gets a good mix of sun and shade as the day goes on. In the morning, it gets shade from the trees, whereas later in the day, it gets evening sun. The portion closer to the house gets some shade in the afternoon from the way the house casts a shadow. And overall, the front piece of property is just shy of 7,000 square foot, so not the biggest portion that I own, but it's a fairly substantial piece. Okay, so finally we are looking at the side yard here. It's a long, skinny piece, so I drew it, I guess, perpendicular to how I drew all the other portions of the property maps. I have, to the front, I have some forsythia bushes that separate me from the road, as well as a pumpkin patch in here. Takes up some of my lawn real estate. And then to the bottom of that, just below it, I have a ditch that catches some runoff water from my neighbors and pushes it towards the road ditch. And this section is roughly 900 square foot, so it's a very small portion. And obviously this map isn't to scale because the spot next to it is 4,500 square foot. And that little divider is actually set up here where I have a big flat rock and my first apple tree, and that's what divides the pumpkin patch from the orchard. You can also see that I have a dry spot here, a heavy sun spot, so to speak, that is developed from just the way the sun runs across this property from east to west. It cast a heavy burden on this section because none of the shadows from these maple trees fall in this little area here. It just beats down all day, so it's dry and it's hard to get anything to grow here. There's a lot of crabgrass that I'm fighting. I also have another apple tree, 2 blackberry bushes, and 4 blueberry bushes here too. Hence the orchard name for this part of the side yard. I've got all my little homestead plants, I guess, growing here. So overall, the piece of property is about 5,400 square foot, so just shy of 5,500 square feet. So not the smallest section of lawn that I take care of, and that's it. That's my lawn.
All right, so I've shown you the lawn journal. Really useful tool. Going forward, I'm also going to be able to document the application rates of certain product that I want to use. And what I mean by that is, so say, we'll use Milorganite for an example. It's one bag does 2,500 square foot. So I'm going to be able to make little notations on each section of the property that if I want to put down Milorganite, I know it's going to be on a, say the 5,000 square foot section of the backyard, or 4,500, whatever it is. That's going to be 2 bags. Okay, 2 bags of Milorganite, real quick, bing bang boom. I'm not going to have to do any math, anything like that. You're going to do that ahead of time, so when you have to come back, you don't have to do it again. You go through your notes, bam, 2 bags of Milorganite. You already know. And you can do the same thing for all your liquid fertilizers, your herbicides, your pesticides, fungicides, anything. All right, it doesn't matter, granular, liquid product. This is the foundation for making your life easier when it comes to taking care of the lawn and getting it to the place where you want it to be. Luckily, it looks like my daughter slept through this entire video, so hooray. She's getting a good nap in. That means she's going to be in a good mood later, and Daddy got some work done, so he's happy too. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe. There's going to be more content. I'm growing the channel. I'm growing grass, and stick around. Thanks for watching.